Okay, Defensor, can you lead us a prayer? Amen. So, good morning, class. Okay, good morning. You may now be seated. So, today, I will check your attendance, and if I call your name, say guapa if you are a girl, and say guapo if you are a boy. Understood? Okay. So, let's start first with Gonzaga, Rivera, Navarro, De La Rosa, Legaspe, De Los Reyes, Defensor, and Gonzaga. Okay, very good. Present kayong lahat. So again, today, let's start from our discussion. So our topic for today is all about finding the derivatives using increment method. Okay, De Los Reyes, do you have any idea what is a derivative? Okay, very good. Gonzaga, do you have any idea what is a derivative without looking in front? Okay, very good. All of your answers are correct. But before we continue our discussion, I would like to introduce first our learning objective. Okay, at the end of this lesson, the students are expected to, number 1, enumerate the steps in finding the derivative of a function by increment method. Number 2, find the derivative of the given function by applying the increment method. And number 3, manifest the value of patience, perseverance, and responsibility in doing one's work. Okay, again, sabi ni De Los Reyes kanina, ang derivative daw is simplifying a function. And mayroon namang ibang idea si Gonzaga. So, to conclude all your answer, the definition of derivative is defined as the limit of the difference quotients. Okay, Defensor, what is your explanation or what is your idea about the definition of derivative? Okay, very good. So, ang ibig sabihin ni derivative, sabi na dito, the limit of the difference quotient. So, ibig sabihin, i-apply natin, or in finding the derivative, i-apply natin yung concept ni limit. So, delta x approaches to 0 is called derivative of y with respect to x. For a given value of y and is denoted by derivative of x over derivative of y. So, ito yung symbol ng derivative. So, in finding the derivatives of increment method, it is easy for us to simplify because we have given different steps in finding the derivative. So, number 1, we need to substitute all the values of x's in the given function y equals f of x by x plus delta x. So, ibig sabihin, ang mga x's ay kailangan siyang palitan ng x plus delta x. Okay, number 2. Please read Miss Legaspe. Okay, so sabi niya, subtract the given function from the values in a step 1 and simplify. So, after natin ma-substitute yung x plus delta x, so in step 2, kailangan nating i-subtract yung original function sa step 1. And then number 3, divide the result in step 2 by delta x. So after natin mag-subtract, ito na yung time na mag-divide tayo ng delta x. So, sabi ni number 3. And number 4, which is the last step, is to take the result in step 3 as delta x approaches to 0. So, dito na natin i-apply yung limit of function or yung concept of limit Yung sabi kanina dito sa definition na in finding the derivative using increment method, i-apply natin yung concept ni limit. So, para mas maiintindihan natin, we have here an illustrative example. Okay, number 1 problem. Please read Rivera. Okay, thank you. So, again, yung number 1 is find the derivative of y equals 7x plus 8. In step 1, we need to substitute all the x's by x plus delta x. So, yung sabi kanina na mga steps in finding the derivative using increment method. So, ito na yung mga increment method. First, we are going to substitute all the x's by x plus delta x. So, ito na yung nangyayari. So, lalagyan natin siya ng prime ay yung kama dito sa itaas. Ang ibig sabihin nun is prime. Since we derive na. So, ang nangyayari, ang pagbasa nito ay y prime equals 7, which is the value of x, and plus 8. After the step 1, let's proceed to step 2, which is we need to subtract the given function from the values from 1 and simplify. Ang given function, ito yung sinasabi na given function dito, or in other words, the original function. Kailangan natin siya i-subtract after natin i-apply yung step 1. So, ito na yung nangyayari. Dito, inilagay natin dito sa pinaka-last yung original function. So, in here, we apply the distributive property of multiplication, which is 7 times x equals 7x, 7 times delta x equals 7 delta x, copy the positive 8. Then, since we have here a negative sign, all of the term sa loob ng parentheses ay mapapalitan yung kanilang sign. So, ang mangyayari is yung positive 7x maging negative 7x na siya, at yung 8 maging negative 8 na siya. So, ito nangyayari dito sa baba niya. And then, since we see like terms, which is the 7x, may ka-like terms siya, which is the negative 7x, and then they are unlike signs, so we are going to subtract. 7x minus 7x equals 0, so cancel na yon yung 7x. And then yung positive 8, tapos meron siyang negative 8 dito, since unlike sign siya, so cancel na yon, wala na, 0 na yung 8. So, ang matitira na lang is yung 7 delta x. So, pagkatapos dito, i-apply na natin yung, let's proceed to step 3, which is to divide the result in step 2 by delta x. So, y prime equals 7 delta x over delta x. So, ang answer is y prime equals 7x. So, after the step 3, let's proceed to the step 4, which is we need to take the limit of the result from step 3 as delta x, may x to, delta x approaches to 0. So, since ang natira na yung result ng step 3 is y prime equals 7, so copy natin siya dito. Then, dito na natin i-apply yung concept ni limit. So, if we remember, if we derive the limit of, or if we derive a constant limit, so ang answer is constant. Since there is no delta x in the last equation in step 3, therefore the derivative of 7x plus 8 as delta x approaches to 0 is 7. So, gikopy lang nato ang 7. since walay nakabutang nga delta x. So we have here another example. Okay, good Saka, can you read the problem? Okay, very good. So again, in number 2, find the derivative of y equals 5x squared plus 3x minus 10. So let's proceed to the first step. Since we applied na the derivative, so ang y dito, meron na siyang sign na, or may kama sa baba, which is tinatawag siya na prime. So, tinatawag na siyang y prime equals 5 and x plus delta x, which is the value of x. Then, since yung step 1 is kailangan natin i-substitute yung all x's by x plus delta x. Plus 3x plus delta x, which is the value of x. Then, copy the negative 10. So, kailangan natin i-expand first yung may exponent sa na parenthesis. So, ang answer ng x plus delta x squared is x squared plus 2 delta x plus delta x squared. Then, using the distributive property of multiplication, 3 times, so i-distribute natin yung 3 sa lahat ng mga value dito sa loob ng parentheses. So, 3 times x, naging 3x, then 3 distribute to delta x. Answer is 3 delta x, then copy the negative 10. So, again, using the distributive property of multiplication, 5 times x squared equals 5x squared. 5 times 2 delta x is 10 delta x. 5 times delta x squared equals 5 delta x squared. Then copy the 3x plus 3 delta x minus 10. So, ito na yung result ng step 1. So, let's proceed to the step 2. Again, ano yung step 2 defensor? Okay, very good. So, again, yung step 2, kailangan natin i-subtract yung original function in step 1, then simplify. So, since ito yung result ng step 1, so i-copy na lang natin dito para mas madali. Then, i-subtract natin yung original function. Then, makikita natin may mga like terms like the 5x squared and the negative 5x squared, since unlike sign sila, so isubtract natin, ang answer is 0, so cancel na sila, and then yung 3x may ka-like term siya, so cancel na yon since they are unlike sign. And then, so ang natira na lang is yung 10 delta x plus 5 delta x squared, then yung 3 delta x. Since yung 10 delta x is magkapareho sila ni 3 delta x, ibig sabihin magkapareho sila ng term, so kailangan natin, pwede natin sila ma-simplify. Since they are like sign, so i-add natin sila. So ang nangyayari is, naging 13 delta x, then copy the 5 delta x squared since siya lang mag-isa. Okay, after the step 2, let's proceed to the step 3. Again, Rivera, can you read what is the step 3? Okay, very good. So, in step 3, kailangan natin i-divide yung result in step 2 by delta x. So, ito na yung nangyayari. Since pwede nating hanapan ng lowest term para may makancel tayo, so, yung delta x, i-divide natin siya sa 13 delta x. So, ang matitira na lang is 13 dito sa loob ng parentheses. Plus, yung 5 delta x squared divide delta x. So, ang matitira na lang is 5 delta x. So, Since andito na sa labas na parentheses yung delta x and sa denominator may delta x rin, so pwede natin silang i-cancel. So ang matira na lang is yung 13 plus 5 delta x. So after the step 3, let's proceed to the step 4. Okay, Legaspi, what is the step 4? Okay, very good. Since the result of step 3 is y prime equals 13 plus 5 delta x, let's copy that. And then after, i-apply, dito na natin i-apply yung concept ni limit, which is yung lahat ng delta x is mag-substitute tayo ng 0. So limit of y prime equals 13 plus 5 delta x as delta x approaches to 0. So, substitute na yung delta x maging 0. So, 5 times 0 equals 0 na yun. And then, copy the 13. So, ang ating answer dito sa given number 2 is y prime equals 13. So, yun na yung ating discussion today. Since mayroon na kayong idea or mayroon na kayong nalaman tungkol sa pag-find ng derivatives of increment method, so let's proceed to exercise. We have here an exercise. Okay, this is to test you if you understand my lesson today. Since we have only 20 minutes left, I will give you 15 minutes to answer the 5 items problem exercise. After that one, you will pass your paper in front. Okay, tapos na yung 15 minutes, ipass na niya yung paper sa harap. Okay. Thank you. For your assignment, I would like you to study our lesson today because we will have our long quiz in the next meeting. Okay, Rivera, can you lead us a closing prayer? Amen. Goodbye, class. Okay, goodbye.